There's an unspoken power wrapped in the quiet resolve of a Capricorn, as though they carry the weight of ancient mountains within their bones and the patient breath of centuries in their hearts. Born between December 22nd and January 19th, under the stern yet steady influence of Saturn, Capricorns approach life with a sense of solemn purpose that feels almost sacred. They don't chase fleeting thrills or empty applause. Instead, they set their sights on enduring achievements, crafting their own legacies one steadfast step at a time. Their loyalty is built from a foundation of unwavering integrity, and their compassion is measured not in impulsive emotion but in the consistent support they offer day after day. To betray a Capricorn is to crack the bedrock of their trust, unleashing tremors that echo far beyond the moment of betrayal. In the next 40 minutes, we'll explore 18 reasons why breaking faith with a Capricorn is a mistake you'll come to regret, beginning with their mountain-climbing patience, flowing through their sacred discipline, and revealing the humility that anchors their greatness. As we delve into each reason, you'll see how their endurance, wisdom, and steadfast devotion create a bond you can't rebuild once shattered, and why some trust, once broken, leaves a chasm that never fully heals. 1. They climb mountains with patience. Capricorns tackle challenges as though scaling a towering peak, measuring each handhold and foothold with meticulous care. They never rush to the summit. Instead, they map their route, strengthen their resolve in preparation, and adjust their pace to ensure they reach the top without losing footing. When obstacles appear, steep cliffs of doubt or rocky ledges of setback, they don't panic or retreat. They examine the terrain, learn its patterns, and apply lessons from past ascents to navigate safely upward. Their patience isn't passive endurance but an active commitment to steady progress, understanding that true achievement often requires a slow, deliberate approach. While others might chase quick wins or become frustrated by delays, Capricorns remain unflinchingly calm, trusting that perseverance will yield victory. Betraying a Capricorn disrupts that measured climb, fracturing the trust that allowed you to ascend together. In that moment, you lose not just a companion but the steady presence that turned daunting heights into attainable goals, and you'll regret having derailed a partnership built on shared determination. 2. Their discipline feels sacred. For Capricorns, discipline isn't a chore, it's a ritual of self-respect, a daily practice that honors their highest values. They rise early, map their priorities, and guard their schedules with the same reverence others reserve for sacred rites. Each task, no matter how small, becomes an opportunity to demonstrate their commitment to growth, writing a few pages before dawn, responding promptly to messages, or carving out moments for reflection. This disciplined structure creates a sanctuary within their lives, a space where purpose and action merge seamlessly. They don't wait for motivation to strike, they generate it through consistent effort, believing that mastery arises from repetition rather than inspiration alone. When you betray a Capricorn, you violate that sacred rhythm, fracturing the trust that allowed you to share their disciplined journey. You forget that in their world, promises aren't casual statements but commitments etched into the very fabric of their daily devotion, and you'll come to regret having trampled the solemn integrity that guided both your steps. 3. They honor tradition and wisdom. Capricorns carry with them a deep respect for the lessons of the past, viewing tradition not as a weight but as a sturdy bridge connecting generations. They seek out ancestral insights, stories of perseverance, philosophies of character, practices that have endured time's tests, and integrate them into modern life. They won't follow rituals mindlessly, instead, they engage with tradition thoughtfully, preserving what endures and adapting what needs renewal. Their choices reflect an understanding that the wisdom of forebears provides a compass for navigating today's challenges. When you betray a Capricorn, you discard that shared connection to history, breaching the trust that bound you to a lineage of values. You fail to honor the legacy they so carefully uphold, and in doing so, you estrange yourself from the timeless guidance they offered, a regret you'll feel as you navigate life without the sturdy guardrails of their inherited insight. 4. They build legacies, not fads. Capricorns measure success not by fleeting trends but by the lasting impact of their creations, businesses that weather storms, relationships that stand firm across seasons, projects that echo into the future. They invest patiently in foundations designed to endure, choosing substance over flash. While others chase momentary acclaim, Capricorns cultivate legacies with deliberate care, ensuring that every brick laid today contributes to a structure that will shelter generations to come. Their vision extends beyond personal gain, encompassing the well-being of communities and the enrichment of society. When you betray a Capricorn, you shatter the trust that allowed you to be part of a shared legacy. You demonstrate a disregard for their long-term aspirations, turning short-lived impulses into barriers against the enduring contributions they intended. The regret of having disrupted a commitment to permanence can haunt you more than any temporary success ever could. 5. Their humility anchors their greatness. Despite their towering ambitions and remarkable achievements, Capricorns remain grounded by a humility that feels deeply genuine, an acknowledgement that every summit reveals new heights to pursue. They credit mentors, acknowledge the efforts of their teams, and reflect on mistakes with a willingness to learn. Their humility doesn't diminish their worth, it enriches it, making their greatness relatable and inspiring to those around them. They listen as attentively as they lead, asking questions before offering answers and valuing collaboration over ego. When you betray a Capricorn, you violate the unassuming power that made them so magnetic. You show contempt for the modest grace with which they wore their accomplishments, and you miss the chance to stand beside someone whose quiet greatness could have illuminated your own path. That lost opportunity becomes a lingering regret, marking the moment you underestimated the profound strength born of humility. 6. They serve others with purpose. Capricorns view service as a solemn offering rather than a casual favor, dedicating their time and talents where they can make the most lasting impact. They assess needs carefully, then apply their skills with precision, from organizing community fundraisers to mentoring a junior colleague in quiet one-on-one sessions. Their acts of service aren't driven by recognition but by a genuine commitment to uplift those around them, whether that means staying late to help finish a project, sharing hard-won expertise, or offering practical support in life's tougher moments. They don't scatter their energy aimlessly, each gesture is carefully chosen to address root issues and spark sustainable growth. In their hands, service becomes a tool for transformation rather than a fleeting act of kindness. When you betray a Capricorn, you undercut this sacred purpose, demonstrating a disregard for the thoughtful devotion they extended to help you, and you lose the steady support that could have guided you beyond immediate challenges. 7. Their stewardship feels divine. To a Capricorn, stewardship is a holy duty entrusted by fate. They safeguard resources, relationships, and responsibilities with unwavering vigilance. They manage budgets with meticulous care, ensuring every dollar furthers a greater good, and oversee projects with the foresight of a seasoned strategist, balancing short-term gains against long-term sustainability. Their guardianship extends to emotional realms as well, as they nurture trust and morale among friends and colleagues, creating environments where people feel both safe and empowered. This divine stewardship springs from their belief that everything entrusted to them, be it money, time, or hearts, is a sacred gift to be honored and preserved. When you betray a Capricorn, you violate that sense of holy trust and expose yourself to the void left by the absence of their protective oversight, losing the sure-handed guidance that kept both aspirations and relationships flourishing. 8. They protect what matters most. When a Capricorn dedicates themselves to a cause, a relationship, or a principle, they become vigilant guardians, sensing threats long before others notice. They anticipate risks, financial pitfalls, interpersonal conflicts, ethical dilemmas, and craft contingency plans to shield what they hold dear. This protective instinct is unwavering. They confront bullies in the boardroom, defend friends against gossip, and uphold fairness even when it demands personal sacrifice. Their resolve doesn't falter in adversity. Instead, they stand firmer, absorbing pressure and deflecting harm to ensure safety for those they cherish. Betraying a Capricorn means severing the shield they erected around you, leaving you exposed to dangers they once kept at bay. In their retreat, you feel every omission and oversight, and you come to regret having dismissed the steadfast defender who would have stood guard against life's fiercest storms. 9. They lead by quiet example. Capricorns don't seek the spotlight, they let their actions speak volumes. They embody reliability by arriving early, meeting every deadline, and upholding commitments even when it means personal hardship. Their consistent performance shapes team cultures of accountability and excellence, inspiring others to follow suit. Rather than issuing orders, they demonstrate the path forward through diligence and integrity, quietly setting standards that resonate more deeply than any public decree. Their leadership style fosters trust and respect, as colleagues recognize that these aren't mere platitudes but lived values. Betraying a Capricorn undermines the foundation of that silent authority. Once broken, their example loses its power, and you forfeit the guidance of someone whose unassuming dedication could have forged a path to collective success. 10. Their loyalty outlasts the storms. Loyalty is woven into Capricorn's very nature, manifesting as a steadfast presence through every high and low. When they commit to a friend, a partner, or a cause, they stand resolutely by that bond, weathering hardships with unshakable faith. Their loyalty isn't conditional on convenience, it thrives in adversity, turning setbacks into shared challenges to overcome. They bear the burdens of those they love, offering steadfast support without expectation of praise. Yet this loyalty is not blind. When trust is broken, their allegiance withdraws like a receding tide, leaving a stark emptiness in its wake. Betraying a Capricorn casts you out of that unwavering circle, depriving yourself of a companion whose loyalty could have been eternal, and leaving you to face life's storms without the anchor only they could provide. 11. They see possibility in every obstacle. Capricorns possess a rare ability to view setbacks not as dead ends but as springboards to innovation. When a project falters or a plan unravels, they don't fixate on failure. Instead, they dissect the challenge, extract its lessons, and transform barriers into stepping stones. A missed opportunity becomes a chance to refine strategy, a budget cut sparks creative resourcefulness, and a conflict reveals underlying inefficiencies waiting to be addressed. Their perspective turns every obstacle into a hidden opportunity, empowering those around them to adopt the same constructive mindset. Betraying a Capricorn robs yourself of this transformative vision, leaving you to stumble over problems that they would have elevated into progress. Without their unwavering optimism grounded in practicality, you face each new hurdle with fear rather than possibility, and you'll look back wishing you'd retained their gift for alchemy of adversity. 12. Their prudence is a divine gift. Prudence for Capricorn is not mere caution, it's an art form born of wisdom, honed by experience, and guided by a deep moral compass. They weigh each decision against a backdrop of long-term consequences, balancing risk and reward with meticulous care. Whether allocating resources, forging partnerships, or navigating sensitive relationships, they consult their inner ledger, ensuring that every choice aligns with their highest principles. This divine gift of discernment shields them and those they care about from unnecessary harm, preserving stability where others might unleash chaos. When you betray a Capricorn, you discard the protective prudence they offered, exposing yourself to pitfalls they would have foreseen. Without their judicious stewardship, you risk impulsive mistakes with lasting repercussions, and you'll regret having dismissed the guardianship of their sagacious restraint. 13. They plan for generations. Capricorns think beyond quarterly gains, envisioning legacies that will outlast their own lifetimes. They craft strategies not just for personal success but for the benefit of future generations, founding companies with enduring values, mentoring successors to carry on their missions, and investing in sustainable practices that honor the earth and community. This generational planning reflects a sense of stewardship that feels deeply sacred, as if they're building cathedrals of purpose rather than fleeting monuments of achievement. When you betray a Capricorn, you fracture the trust that bound you to this far-reaching vision, cutting yourself out of plans that could have benefited your descendants. You lose access to their prophetic foresight, and you'll regret having walked away from opportunities designed to echo across time. 14. They balance ambition with integrity. Ambition for Capricorn is inseparable from honor. They pursue greatness without sacrificing their core values. They reject shortcuts that compromise ethical standards and refuse to equate success with exploitation. In boardrooms, they champion fair practices. In personal dealings, they uphold promises above profit. In community projects, they prioritize long-term welfare over immediate acclaim. This balance ensures their achievements are unassailable and sustainable, earning respect that endures far beyond their own tenure. Betraying a Capricorn undermines this delicate equilibrium, revealing that you value results over righteousness. By breaking faith with someone who modeled principled ambition, you forfeit the chance to walk a path of honorable success, and you'll bear the regret of having compromised both opportunity and moral integrity. 15. Their resilience inspires hope. Resilience for Capricorn is not simply bouncing back, it's an unwavering ascent through adversity that illuminates the way for others. They endure personal trials, market downturns, and relational fractures with steadfast determination, transforming every difficulty into a testament of endurance. Their stories of recovery become lifelines for those facing similar storms, proving that recovery is possible and that perseverance can yield renewal. This inspiring resilience fosters hope in communities and teams, galvanizing collective willpower to overcome obstacles. When you betray a Capricorn, you sever the connection to this living beacon of hope. Without their example lighting your path, you may succumb to despair in the face of hardship, and you'll regret having undermined a source of strength whose very survival served as proof that challenges can be conquered when met with disciplined resolve. 16. They transform challenges into blessings. Capricorns possess a rare alchemy that turns adversity into advantage, viewing every obstacle as a hidden gift rather than a setback. When a project collapses or a partnership falters, they don't lament the loss, they dissect the experience, extract its lessons, and repurpose those insights to build something stronger. A failed presentation becomes a master class in communication, a broken relationship becomes a blueprint for healthier boundaries, and a financial shortfall becomes the catalyst for more prudent investments. Their ability to reframe hardship as a blessing doesn't arise from naive optimism but from a disciplined mind that recognizes value in every outcome. In their hands, challenges become crucibles of growth that refine both character and capability. If you betray a Capricorn, you lose access to this transformative perspective. Instead of seeing your own mistakes as opportunities, you remain mired in regret, unable to harness the hidden potential of your struggles. You'll look back on moments of crisis wishing you still had their steady presence to reforge your setbacks into stepping stones. 17. They remind us that hard work is sacred. Capricorns treat labor not as drudgery but as a sacred discipline, a devotion to craft, to principle, and to the mastery of self. They approach each task, no matter how minor, with the reverence of a ritual, rising early to honor their commitments, mapping out goals with precision, and seeing every small effort as an offering toward a larger purpose. Their steadfast diligence transforms routine duties into acts of worship, imbuing daily routines with dignity and intentionality. Through their example, we learn that excellence is not an accident but the accumulation of countless deliberate, conscientious actions. Betray a Capricorn, and you sever yourself from the living lesson that hard work is more than a means to an end, it's a sacred expression of integrity. Without their guiding ethos, your own efforts feel burdensome and uninspired, and you'll come to regret having abandoned the devotion that could have elevated every moment into a testament of purpose. 18. God hides grace in their grit. There is an unspoken grace woven into every act of Capricorn grit, a divine elegance that emerges not despite their struggles but because of them. When they endure long hours, tackle steep learning curves, or persevere through personal trials, they do so with a quiet dignity that reflects an inner faith, an unshakable belief that tenacity honors a higher calling. Their grit is not about proving toughness, it's an expression of hope and commitment to something greater than themselves. In witnessing their relentless pursuit of excellence, we glimpse a subtle form of grace, perseverance laced with humility, strength tempered by compassion, and ambition guided by conscience. In every breakthrough born of endurance, we see God's hand in the steadfast heart of Capricorn. If you betray them, you miss the chance to learn from this divine interplay of resolve and righteousness, and you'll regret having cast aside the luminous example that their steadfast spirit provided. Betraying a Capricorn robs you of more than a friend or partner, it severs a bond built on patience, discipline, and unwavering loyalty. You lose the steady hand that could guide you through life's steepest climbs, the sacred rhythm that shaped your own habits of excellence, and the unspoken grace that shines brightest in the crucible of perseverance. Capricorns don't merely endure, they transform hardship into gold, honor work as worship, and carry courage as proof that faith and effort walk hand in hand. Once that trust is broken, the mountain they helped you climb becomes insurmountable alone, and the echoes of their disciplined footsteps fade into a silence you'll always regret. In the shadow of their departure, you'll learn that some guardianship, once lost, cannot be reclaimed, and you'll carry that lesson as both a caution and a sorrow for the rest of your days.